Good morning. Welcome back to the KR Daily Transmission. So happy to see everyone coming online. So this week, we've been talking a lot about self-love and self-acceptance and honoring our truth. And it's been so amazing to read your comments in both the chat and in the comment feed for the replay. I've been so deeply moved by just the depth of your reflections, how you're taking in these teachings, how you're loving your own heart, how you're having these powerful conversations with your inner child, and the different aspects of your consciousness that are ready to receive more love. So I want to congratulate everyone for the immense amount of inner work that I've been witnessing. Hi, good morning. Oh, it's so great to see everyone coming on. Really, let's just take a moment, and you can bring your hand to your heart and just take a moment to say, thank you. Thank you for all of the ways that you've showed me how to love you even more this week and right here and right now. And as you feel your hands in your heart, just feel how affirming it is to say thank you to your own heart, how honoring it feels to say I love you to your own heart. And you may even feel your angel wings flutter or unfurl out of the back of your heart chakra when you connect into that deep self-honor and self-love and gratitude, the healing energy of gratitude for your own heart this morning. Feel free to share in the chat how it feels to say I love you to your own heart. Christina's writing in, this has been incredibly powerful for my consciousness of connecting deeply with Sophia because of these transmissions and in the book. It's so wonderful to hear your feedback, Christina. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Mary. Thank you. So today is Q&A day, and today is the day that I get to take a few of your questions live. I'm just going to let the team angels know that there's a power cord for the computer that we're going to need. So if we could have that brought into the room, that would be so helpful. Okay, so today's question is, Today's question is, I have been keeping my spiritual path really private for fear of judgment and persecution. How can the Ascended Masters help me to work through this fear of being seen? We're just going to get this power cord plugged in real quick. Yeah. So just checking in with the chat as we get this sorted. Can anyone else relate to this question? I've been keeping my spiritual path really private for fear of judgment and persecution. How can the Ascended Masters help me to work through this fear of being seen? Oh, wow, there's a lot of comments coming in. Thank you so much. There's a comment coming in strong. The signing up for the Austin and Sedona workshops, you can contact my team angels and they can absolutely help you with that at kaira.com. Okay, so Jennifer's writing in, yes, absolutely. Unicorn is writing in, yes, this is a great question. Kelly can relate to this question. There's someone named Gold Purple 777 says, definitely they experience an intense fear of spiritual abuse. Michelle's writing in and saying, yes, I can relate to this. So is Julie. Muriel's sharing, yes, I can relate. I share my light only with my friends and on social media. So if you experience this fear, know that you're not alone. A lot of times when we experience a fear, we think it's unique and to our own private experience. And the truth is that any fear that you experience, someone else has experienced, if not everyone. And that is to say that it's normal to feel afraid, especially when it comes to spirituality. And so again, the question is, I have been keeping my spiritual path really private for fear of judgment and persecution. How can the Ascended Masters help me work through this fear of being seen? I think the first question to ask, because I love how this question weaves into our conversation about self-love this week. And what I have found for myself in my own journey is that the more I love myself, the more I understand that my journey of spirituality, just like it is for everyone else, is extremely private by the very nature that there's no two people that believe the exact same thing about anything. I mean, you could even have like an entire church or temple filled with everybody professing that they believe in the same, book or doctrine. But the truth is, in everyone's private universe, there's their own cosmology, their own set of belief systems that kind of somehow fit into a certain framework, but there's a unique flavor for each person. So of what they believe based on what they can perceive about reality and about themselves. Belief is extremely what we believe in regarding a specific spiritual or religious path it's extremely individual, even if there's a great deal of similarities between us. And I personally believe that if you have found a set of belief systems that are, bring you great, that create a sanctuary, that bring you peace, that bring you solace, that bring you empowerment, you're going to be, over time, through the practice of self-love, you're going to be accepting that which you believe in such a powerful way that what you believe is what you become, right? It's not just words. It's not just ideas. You embody the beliefs, whatever those beliefs are, you become them over time. And what you are embodying, and it's why we talk about in the Sophia Code Mystery School a lot, what you are embodying that is the message, that is the presentation of what you believe. So I think there's a lot of kind of misguided self-shaming that happens around spirituality, as though we have to profess everything that we believe in to everyone to be courageous. And that's simply not true. Because what is the whole point of being a spiritual being? It's to learn how to love and accept ourselves first. And from that love and acceptance, we have the ability to meet people wherever and whatever they believe in through that unconditional love. And so it's actually quite wise to, at time, depending on the situation you're in, to share only what feels comfortable to share. And if it doesn't feel comfortable to share, then not to share at all. Your ability to communicate or articulate what you believe in to someone else has nothing to do with what you're living for yourself. Those two aren't the same things. Certain religions equate them as the same things. Like certain religions say you have to profess all of these beliefs and doctrines, or you're not getting to heaven or enlightenment or fill in the blank, whatever the end game of that doctrine is. But when we are mentored with the ascended masters, why are they masters? It's like they're masters because they're of their ability to reach an enormous amount of people, an extremely wide spectrum of individuals that don't all believe the same thing. But the teaching, the medicine, the healing energy of that ascended master can still reach their hearts if they're open to receiving it. When we are professing anything in spirituality, ultimately the highest expression of anything that you believe in is service. It's not comparing doctrine or belief systems. It's, are you happy? Are you loving to yourself? Are you kind and generous and compassionate to yourself? If that is the case, there's going to be an overflow that will benefit and serve others, whether you're talking about what you believe or not. And this is not hiding in any way. It's using discernment. Again, like, we need to extract ourselves from traditional religions that say, oh, I have to profess all of these things or I'm not living in my truth. And it's just like, again, those two things are not synonymous. They do not equate each other. You can be living in your truth without a word, and you're still not hiding. Hiding your light would be to put up, it literally to live in the closet of your home for the rest of your life. If you're out there in daily life, loving others, first and foremost, loving yourself, being generous and kind and compassionate, and, even practicing tough love, where you speak, emotional or spiritual boundaries that are healthy for you, that help others wake up as well, without it making it about a dogma. That is service. That is leadership. That's being seen and your light pouring through you. We have to remember that teachings and doctrine do not equate to the light. The light is the teaching. The light is the transmission. The light of your soul is the medicine of this world, the love of your soul. And any religion, any doctrine, and even any spiritual teachings are simply and constantly pointing you back to the truth of that light that exists within you and that no one can ever take away from you. So when people think they're hiding their light, you can create a lot of obstacles for people to not clearly see you, but your light can't go anywhere. You can't get away from it. It is who you are. And that's one of the principles of your self-love practice, is turning back to that light within you again and again and again, no matter what anyone says about you, even if they say horrible things about you or they attack you. That happens to me all the time. It's my consistent focus upon the light within me. And my prayer for you is the consistent focus upon the light within you that allows us to radiate love regardless of how people are responding or what people believe outside of us. The whole point is to be the light that you are. And so I just wanted to share that introduction to this question, because when I hear the words, I've been keeping my spiritual path really private for fear of judgment and persecution, it's like I'm hearing a punishing energy toward this person is expressing towards themselves, as though they're doing something wrong. And what if there was simply discernment that was being practiced here, where this person knows that they are love, they are light, that they have a very deep inner and rich connection to whatever they believe in, but that people around them might not understand them or even judge them for that. Are they hiding something? They might be feeling that way, but that also might not be true. They might just be practicing discernment. So your love and your light is going to pour through your face and your heart and all of your actions, regardless of what people think about what you believe. And when we practice discernment, what we're saying is, my heart knows, the appropriate amount to share about what I believe with each person. And it's going to share an appropriate amount or share in a way beyond words, depending on the circumstance. And this is your heart's way of taking care of you. Like, your discernment is not a problem. I think because of traditional religion, we equate discernment with hiding, and it's not. It's the soul's, honestly, very sophisticated way of navigating this world, navigating this life, where there are a lot of extremely wounded and hurting people. And when more consciousness is brought forward for them, if they're not ready for it, yeah, they're going to lash out. So the question is, how are you going to love yourself within that dynamic? Part of loving yourself is recognizing what people are capable of receiving or not receiving around you, and choosing to show up authentically in that situation with that information in mind. Like, that is what your intuition is for. That is what your psychic centers are for and your chakras are for. They're constantly taking in the information around you, where you can understand through the discernment of your intuition, like, oh, I can bring the ministry of the divine love pouring through me to this person in this certain way. And if I go beyond that, I can see they're going to glitch out. And that you can identify that without judging them, because you're doing it through love. You're saying, oh, wow, there's a limit to how much they can receive of what I believe in. And it's totally appropriate to love them in a way that is easy, simple, clear, non-confrontational. We're not talking about abuse here. That's a different subject. We're just talking about the general navigation, day-to-day navigation in this world, where there are billions of people that all believe different things. So that's why we cherish our closer friendships, our closer community connections, because we know through our discernment that there's a greater level of, there's a greater invitation to both give and receive information about consciousness, spiritual beliefs, and connecting in our spirituality with one another. Again, it's simply a process of loving yourself, through that discernment of being able to identify, oh, when I'm here, I get to, I'm going, through self-love, I express, the fullness of, I can articulate and share what I believe in and go into even deeper conversations that might take me to new places. But with these people, what I am practicing spiritually is going to be more of a unspoken transmission. And one is not more spiritual than the other. So, for example, last night I got to go to a really fun NBA game. It was so much fun to watch the basketball game and be around people, of all walks of life, all ways of expressing themselves. I don't drink, but plenty of people were drinking around me, and everyone was having a really great time, and everyone was expressing their really great time in different ways. And do I have to be spouting spirituality to everyone that I'm sitting around watching an NBA game, like, for it to be a spiritual experience? No. It was just so much fun to love everyone exactly where they were at, exactly with what they wanted to talk about while enjoying this game. And everyone's having this just community experience of, entertainment, fun, athleticism, joy, connection with each other. And nothing had to be like over the top spiritual about it for love to be reigning there, because there was so much love that everyone was expressing in their own way, at their own ability, and their own level of consciousness. So, let's be careful about judging ourselves, punishing ourselves about our spiritual practice, when our spiritual practice is, how do we live our lives day to day, with an overflowing heart of love, meeting people where they're at, knowing that we're meeting ourselves first where we're at and with what we need. If you are feeding your own heart through the spiritual practices that make sense for you, that feel good to you, that bring greater empowerment, peace, and sanctuary to your life, you're good. And if you want to share more about it, it's just like Jesus taught in the Bible. He was teaching his disciples. He said, if your work is to share my teachings with the world, Jesus said to his disciples, and you come to a village and the village does not want to hear your teachings, he said, then wipe the dust from your feet and move on. It was very simple. It was just like, bless them and move on. We're not here to in any way convince anyone of anything. I don't care what lineage or spirituality or religion you believe in. We're here to live it if we believe it. And in that process, we learn that, love, the unconditional divine love of God that exists within each of us, is having this deep conversation, regardless of spiritual lineage or religion. And that is the conversation that brings more love and acceptance and forgiveness into this world. That's your true spiritual journey. Now, the second part of the question was, how can the Ascended Masters help me to work through this fear of being seen? And the Ascended Masters that we've been working with all week, Isis, Kuan Yin, Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, and on the topic of self-love, they're here to teach you that when you love yourself so much that the love is overflowing, it opens up your heart and your mind to identify that the spiritual conversations that we can have with one another are really based around how we're loving ourselves and one another. When you love yourself so much that anybody's opinion or attack or judgment it can't sway you from loving you. It can't knock you out of your center. What's so interesting about that is it opens up your mind and your heart just to let people be exactly where they're at. And it also attracts those people to you that want to have deeper conversations about consciousness and spirituality. Isn't that interesting? So it's not about mentoring with the Ascended Masters for how to speak up and speak your truth about what you believe religiously or spiritually to others. It's like, if that's what you want to do, beautiful. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying don't punish yourself if you are living these teachings in a way that are the embodiment of the teachings. Through your own self-love, your spirituality is innately expressed into this world. You're making choices and decisions every day that are significantly impacting everyone around you. And yes, drawing others to you that are resonating at the same level of consciousness or higher, that would like to, have those conversations with you that aren't going to be full of judgment, maybe curiosity, maybe a bit of banter, maybe some back and forth, but not judgment and persecution. When we are in our spiritual path, that is a big fear that comes up, the persecution, the judgment. But it comes up because that fear is attempting to cleanse us of our codependency with others. You can only be afraid and fearful of the attacks and judgments of others if you have a codependent relationship where you are basing your own opinion of yourself and your own ability to love yourself on whether or not people accept you or like you or love you or believe what you believe. And this is an early developmental piece in childhood where if we were not affirmed that what we feel about ourselves, that confidence towards ourselves was right to feel, then it becomes this externalized, looking for the externalized affirmation to love ourselves and to accept ourselves. So my answer to this question is reframe the question: how can I mentor the Ascended Masters to love myself more and more every single day? And that's why we created the Sophia Code Mystery School curriculums. We have so many curriculums that walk you through step by step what it really takes, that inner journey of loving deeply, deeply loving your own heart so that you can break free from the chains of codependency and truly embody your sovereignty, which means that when you are walking as a sovereign spiritual being, you are allowing everyone else to have their beliefs while you are deeply and truly committed to your own spiritual practice and reaffirming that that practice is focusing on your own soul's light, the divine love of your soul, the heroic gift of your human journey, and the generosity of that unconditional divine love that you are allowing yourself to receive is overflowing into this world. So when we're approaching our spiritual journey from that perspective, no one has to believe what you believe for you to keep going and enjoying yourself. In fact, um, meeting people with different beliefs becomes fascinating and fun and an opportunity for a really creative dialogue. If in your discernment, you've discovered that this person is open enough to have a conversation in consciousness. How is this landing for everyone? I'm curious. I'm going to head over to the comment feed and see how this is falling, where this is falling for each of us. Okay, so Dawn is writing in the art of listening. Damien is writing in, I love this discernment piece. It's profound. Let's see. Oh, so many beautiful community comments about how much everyone is connecting and loving one another. Kathy's writing in, there's no judgment here. Let's see. Feeling this Isis teaching in this share. Oh, thanks for sharing that, Ashley. Yes. Let's see. Justin's writing in, thank you, Kaia Ra. This teaching is so powerful and needed for me. Yeah, Dawn is writing in, we're always meeting ourselves and others, a true learning experience. I love that perspective. Thank you. I'm glad you liked that basketball analogy. Rose is writing in, breaking the chains of codependency. Yes, such a crucial journey, which requires so much self-love, love, and courage. Michelle is saying, this is really resonating for me and it feels liberating. Shakti Shiva is writing in that they're definitely purging the people-pleasing tendencies out today and stepping more into their leadership. Oh my gosh. Hi, Christine. She just found the Sophia code and she loves this work. Thank you. It's so great to hear from you. Welcome. Okay, great. So this is landing and I'm so grateful to feel that it's helpful. I want to thank you for such a beautiful question. It's been so lovely to connect with each of you this morning for today's daily transmission. And, I just want to make an invitation that one of the most interesting things I feel like this platform has done is create the Sophia Circle Leadership Program to share the Sophia Code with others. And in a very professional and it's a very structured way of doing it that's extremely safe. And it really teaches you, and if there's any Sophia Circle leaders in the chat, feel free to say hello. It really teaches you how to disconnect from the thoughts, opinions, and judgments of others so that you can truly own and step into embracing what you believe for yourself and what's worked for you in your journey with the Sophia Code, and learning how to share it with people that actually want to receive these teachings and this consciousness, because we have the way that our Sophia Circle leaders lead Sophia Circle journeys. There's a whole structure to it where there's an interview process at the beginning so that you as a leader can really identify, is this person really ready to go on a journey through the Sophia Code with me? And you get to experience what it feels like to come to that conclusion, not through judgment, but through discernment and through the empowerment of all of these training modules that you have access to and in the certification process. So it's it's such a dynamic leadership training program because it's initiating you so deeply into your sovereignty. It's an accelerated path for allowing those chains of codependency, both in your personal life and in your professional life, to just fall away. And to explore a completely new paradigm of how to lead beyond codependency and how to lead through your sovereignty. We are beginning our next certification course this September. And if you're interested, feel free to reach out to our team angels. They're happy to get on the phone and share more with you about the certification program at kaiara.com. So I just felt really led to share about that because this is such a potent question. And it's something that I know that we've all suffered from over the years of being spiritual beings and light workers, is feeling vulnerable and insecure and hiding from the persecution and judgment of others, because when we come to this world, it's just so easy to be programmed into that codependent belief system that it's not safe to believe what I believe in unless everyone else is believing it too. And that's a contracted, controlling state of codependency that doesn't allow for your sovereign exploration of identifying and exploring what's really right for you. So I want to thank this lovely soul for such a powerful question. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us for today's KR Daily Transmission. If you've enjoyed today's teachings, reflections, enjoyed being a part of this community dialogue, feel free to like this video, to add your comments in the replay. And if you're new to my channel, please be sure to subscribe. You can also receive notifications by hitting the little bell for when we go live every morning, Monday through Friday. And I'm just so grateful for everyone's feedback. And I've been reading all of your comments, and just my heart has just been so moved to witness how we're growing together as a community and with the Sophia Code. And I just hope you all have a beautiful and blessed day or evening wherever you are in the world. All my love. Namaste.